Gaius Julius Caesar. He was the most famous Roman to have ever lived. He played a critical role in the events that led to the demise of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. Although he was a figure larger than life even to this day, his life was full of events and experiences that together created the immortal name of Caesar. He was an average man full of hopes, dreams, ambitions, and fears. And as a great man, he was loved, hated, admired, and ridiculed, sometimes all at once. Nevertheless, Caesar is considered by many to be central to the history of Western civilization as we know it today, having influenced the course of many nations and cultures. Caesar was born into a patrician, a noble family of Rome, which claimed descent from the god Venus, the god of love and passion. The name Caesar originated, according to Pliny the Elder, with an ancestor who was born by Caesarean section. There were also three alternative explanations to the name: that the first Caesar had a thick head of hair, that he had bright green eyes, and that he killed an elephant in battle. Caesar later issued coins featuring image of elephants, suggesting that he favored this interpretation. When Caesar was just 16 years old, the sudden death of his father made him the head of his family. This event also coincided with a civil war between his uncle Gaius Marius and his rival Lucius Cornelius Sulla. Having defeated Marius, Sulla attempted to purge Caesar, although many allies of Sulla came to his aid, and he was reluctantly spared. Still, Caesar wanted to get as far away from Sulla as possible, and he joined the legions and served with distinction in Asia Minor, earning great renown for himself. Years later, he was able to return back to Rome after hearing of Sulla's death. On his way back across the Aegean Sea, Caesar's ship was attacked by pirates, and Caesar himself kidnapped and held for ransom. The pirates demanded a ransom of 20 talents of silver, but Caesar insisted that he was worth much more, and told them to ask for 50 talents instead. Caesar also vowed to have them all crucified when he was freed, to which the pirates laughed and deemed it a joke from a young boy. After the ransom was paid, Caesar raised a fleet, hunted down the pirates, and kept his word by having them all crucified. He slit their throats before they were nailed, however, showing them mercy. In Rome, Caesar passed through a variety of political office, ascending the ranks with great speed and efficiency until he finally reached the position of consul, the highest position in the Republic. It was customary for a consul to be awarded with the governorship of a province after his term was complete, and Caesar was appointed the provinces of Cisalpine and Transalpine Gaul, as well as Illyricum. By then he was deeply in debt from all of his political favors, and there was a great deal of money to be made in a governorship. He had 4 legions under his command. His 2 provinces bordered unconquered and wild lands ready to be explored, teeming with warring tribes using whatever means necessary to gain the advantage, even if it meant allying themselves with Rome. This region offered Caesar a chance to gain riches, honor, and glory. Glory, however, being one of the most important facets of a successful Roman politician in general. Thus began the Gallic Wars. The Gauls were numerous and were known to be fierce warriors, but Caesar's military tactics and the advanced weaponry and training of the legions proved superior. Coupled with playing off the Gauls against each other, this allowed Caesar to easily conquer Gaul, even reaching as far north as Britain across the sea. The Gauls were finally united by a chieftain named Vercingetorix, who met Caesar in a final battle for the fate of his people in a town called Alesia. Vercingetorix and his warriors fought bravely, but Caesar's elaborate siege works and Roman discipline could not be undone. The Gauls were defeated, and Vercingetorix surrendered, throwing down his arms at the feet of Julius Caesar, thus cementing Gaul as a province for the Roman Republic. During the Gallic Wars, Caesar did not forget to inform the people of Rome of his heroic deeds and victories. Plunder and prisoners from Gaul were often sent back to Rome to regale the people. So the people loved Caesar, but this brewed a deep jealousy in the rest of the Roman elite, especially his great rival and son-in-law, Pompey, also called Pompey the Great. Pompey and the Senate accused Caesar of treason and ordered him to disband his army and return to Rome at the end of his term as governor in Gaul. Caesar thought that he would be prosecuted and even killed if he returned to Rome as an ordinary citizen. So instead of succumbing to the order of the Senate, he pleaded with his soldiers that the real enemy of the Roman people was the Senate, and that he must save the Republic from the men who he said only cared about themselves. His soldiers were fiercely loyal to Caesar, having fought with him for over 10 years, Caesar himself leading them from the front lines in numerous battles, including the battle at Alesia. His troops pledged their undying loyalty, and thus Caesar crossed the Rubicon that separated Italy from its frontiers with his legions in an act of defiance and war. Upon crossing the river, he was supposed to have quoted the Athenian playwright Menander, saying, "The die is cast." Thus began a bloody civil war between Caesar and Pompey, which split the Republic in two. Caught off guard, Pompey managed to escape to Greece, where he levied fresh armies to defeat Caesar and become the uncontested master of Rome. And although his troops were numerous, most were fresh recruits, while Caesar's legions were battle-hardened veterans of the Gallic Wars. The die had indeed been cast, and it was cast in Caesar's favor. Pompey was defeated and his legions destroyed, but he managed to evade capture and escape to Egypt. However, when he arrived, he was summarily murdered by assassins who were sent by the Egyptian pharaoh. Although they were enemies, Pompey was his son-in-law, and Caesar had both great love and respect for the man who greatly contributed to the glory of Rome. Having received Pompey's head in tears, he promptly executed the assassins, avenging Pompey's death. The events in Egypt and his affairs with Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt, while full of drama, are a whole nother story of its own, and will be revisited another time. Upon returning to Rome, Caesar was appointed dictator for life by the Senate. Caesar made many reforms during his time as dictator, the most important being his reform of the calendar. He replaced the old calendar, which was regulated by the movement of the moon, with the Egyptian calendar, which was regulated by the sun. He set the length of the year to 365 days by adding a leap day at the end of February each fourth year. This calendar was to be used by the West for 1,500 years before being refined by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582, a refinement of only 1/100th of a percentage point correction in the length of the year, showing the remarkable precision in Caesar's calendar and at the level of Roman scientific ingenuity. But despite all these great achievements for the Roman people, it could not save him from his ultimate fate. Rome was still a republic, and it would not accept a dictator for too long. On the infamous Ides of March, the 15th of March, he was assassinated on the Senate floor. 60 men surrounded him and stabbed him while he lay defenseless on the lower steps of the portico. He was stabbed 23 times. Caesar's last words are not known with certainty and are a contested subject among scholars and historians alike. Suetonius reports that others have said Caesar's last words were that of "You too, child," immortalized as Latin "Et tu, Brute," or "You too, Brutus," in the works of the English playwright William Shakespeare. However, for himself, Suetonius says Caesar said nothing. Thus ends the tale of Julius Caesar, a story passed down throughout the history of Western civilization. He was a central figure in the events that played out during the final days of the Roman Republic, and emperors since has sought to cement the legitimacy of their authority with the donning of the name Caesar and claiming their descent from Caesar himself. He would later even join the ranks of the gods by being declared one by Rome, although I am not sure if his ambitions extended that high in life. He certainly delighted in being beloved by the people, and the people loved him so, not because of his greatness, but because while he was great, he was also still one of them.